Hello and welcome to Efficient Strategy Gaming. Today I'd like to do a follow-up video on my video that I did about the best way to do Operation Barbarossa, and this is a map that one of my fellow YouTubers has created, Lieutenant Joker, and he has an excellent video on the topic of Germany's invasion of USSR. Link in the description box below. I suggest that you check out that video for detailed information regarding this map and what happened during this time of world history. It's very interesting, and Lieutenant Joker did an excellent job. I would like to take this opportunity while I have the map up to show you my improved Barbarossa plan. I'm not going to go into Lieutenant Joker's battle plan that he set up here. This is all historical. I'd like to instead shift towards an alt history invasion. As you can see, the Germans did a heavy assault here in late 1941 towards Moscow. What I would like to propose is kind of a double envelopment approach of taking Leningrad to the north and Stalingrad to the south. I think that this cuts off a lot of the Soviet supply. It does not necessarily cut off a lot of their industry, but it does protect Germany's flanks here, and it does allow for many different advantages. If you take Leningrad to the north, you're able to hook up with the Finns, and then the Finns can concentrate their efforts in cutting off the Murmansk Railway. So historically in World War II, a lot of the Allied supplies came through this port in the north. There is still a railway denoted with this brown line here that came all the way down to Moscow, and it did have a secondary line that came across around here and down. I don't see it on this map, but the Soviets had that in 1939, I believe. And if you take Leningrad to the north, you basically have the Baltic to yourself, and you're able to improve supply that way. And as I said, hook up with the Finns. To the south, if you do a thrust to Stalingrad, what you basically do is cut off the oil supply or limit the amount of oil that the Russians can ferry across their front, because you take out two main railway hubs, one in Stalingrad and one in Rostov. So the Soviets would then have to take the precious oil from Baku, take it through Astrakhan, and up and around this way through the rails. It would double, maybe triple the time it would take to supply the army with oil in this case. The other advantage is that you're basically pocketing off all these Russians that are up here in the north and all these Russians in the Caucasus that are down here in the south. Once they are pocketed off, once the major railways are taken out, the armies would not be able to last that long. They would not get supplied in these areas and would not be effective fighting forces for very long. Once you have achieved this, I think that it could be achieved with concentration of forces to take Stalingrad and Leningrad in 1941, if not spring of 1942. Once you've achieved that, you go down to Astrakhan to complete the oil cutoff, and then you can turn your forces towards Moscow. So what's happening in the middle? I would propose going up to about this point, if it's possible, or maybe just to here. A lot of envelopments happened here in the middle of Russia in late 1941, as you can see with these circles. So you'd hold a line about right here. You would do feint attacks in the middle, basically trying to get Russia to think that you're going for Moscow, and then you await the inevitable Russian counterattacks that would occur. and you'd be able to withstand those attacks a lot better, and you'd be better prepared for operations the following spring in 1942 if you didn't do this Operation Typhoon attack here in the middle in late 1941 through the winter cold. It was very costly, and it did stretch the German supply lines. You would take the winter to strengthen your supply lines through the middle of the country. Um, and yeah, that's how I would complete Operation Barbarossa. That's the improved plan. So please check out Lieutenant Joker's video. He does talk about how the Soviets were masters of supply and using the rail lines to supply their forces. He hits on a lot of topics that you would not get from the History Channel, that you're not going to get from a lot of Operation Barbarossa talks that go into the bad kind of politics on the German side, the things that the Russians did well, the things that the Germans did bad, these little moves that aren't talked about very much, that really were quite costly for the German efforts. So please check out his video, leave a like and subscribe if you like this type of content, and I'll see you on the next one.